have a low view of my panel. Up next, sexy librarians are a thing of the past as their woke replacements leave you aghast. Getting very scary now that the woke run your library. Come back, clipboard. The New York Post, a publication, not a sturdy piece of timber found in Manhattan. What's wrong with you people? Anyway, according to the New York Post, I'm pretty much given up here. They write that libraries have become a hotbed for radical political activism as librarians get more and more woke. It's gotten so bad that homeless people are now masturbating outside. I know, the weather. But between things like drag queen story time and offering pornographic content in kids' books, libraries are now less about education and more about indoctrination. Worse, it ruins the sexy librarian fantasy, you know, when she's got glasses, a short skirt, and balls. Except for Jim woke up there. Anyway. So is this yet another example of another area in life infiltrated and then poisoned by a brainless cult? Dan Kleinman, who runs the website Safe Library, says librarians see themselves on the front lines on what it takes to bring revolution to the U.S. You need soldiers in the revolution, so they're teaching kids to be little Antifa activists who hate their own country. Which means now illiterate children are our only hope. Never teaching my kids how to read, that's for sure. Critics call out Emily Drabinski, the president-elect of the American Library Association. She's talked about decades of, quote, unchecked climate change, class warfare, white supremacy, and imperialism. And she calls herself a Marxist lesbian, which is helpful since I thought she was Drew Carey. Vivek! This is your wheelhouse, so to speak. Go a little bit deeper into this. Is it just like a guy complaining that the library's got some sexy books?
No, I mean, look, I think that, first of all, libraries have been hollowed out of meaning. Okay, so people don't really go to libraries anymore, so they've defined a new purpose. But I think that's an analogy for what's going on in our culture more broadly, all right? We have a vacuum, not just in the libraries, but in our national identity. We have used to care about things like, I don't know, belief in a higher power, belief in a nation, hard work, family, whatever it is. When you lose all of those things, you have this black hole of a vacuum, and sometimes that's an empty library, and something's going to have to fill the void. And so if that's some sort of new transgender religion ideology, climate religion, some new religion's going to fill the void left by the old ones, that's what's going on. We're just seeing the library being one of the empty voids that's being filled instead.
You wouldn't mind an empty library, would you, Jim?
No, I wouldn't. Or a librarian with a skirt and balls.
He's like, where is this library?
Yeah, where is this magical place of learning and fun? Yeah, I don't understand the whole library. Like, I don't care what books they have. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't need, like, all I needed was the Anarchist Cookbook and a pop-up version of Mein Kampf.
I don't even know what that means. That's going to keep me out of trouble, I think. But, you know, it's funny. I only went to the library, Kat, because I would go to the health area, because that's where they had pictures of naked people. You always knew in the health area they would have like, all the medical sketches. That's how I learned the birds and the bees.
All right.
And assorted dermatological problems.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you're worried about like what's in the library, it's like, you know, wait till you hear about the internet. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Put whatever in there. If your kids, though, if they're telling you like, oh, Mom, I'm like gonna go to the library, they're probably not at the library. Nobody's hanging out at the library except for like mostly like vagrants.
Yes.
At least in New York.
They put the lie in library.
Wow, that's why you're sitting over there.
Yes, exactly. I have a feeling, I think this is an Adam Carolla line, Tyrus, that all good people have left certain industries, and the only people left are the people that can't get jobs, so they're the woke ones, because no one will hire them. So
they're checking boxes and not resumes, and the librarians have had enough. And now they're all, I guess they have cooking shows or something, because they're gone. Because I remember when I was a kid, went to the library, it was a big deal, you know. And you went there and you checked out a book and even got a story, and it was a fun place to go. But now it's not. Now it smells like urine, and there's a homeless guy.
It's all the
looking at
urine.
porn. Yeah, it's all urine and porn and all that stuff that.
I saw my first puppet show there, I believe.
Yeah, well, the puppet show is a little different now.
You know, Greg, my mother was a librarian.
Really?
She was, yes.
What? I did not
That's
know.
the whole story.
Was she really a librarian?
When I was a boy, my mother was a librarian, yes.
Was that like something very exciting as a child? You could.
Oh, please, if you want to get laid, tell everyone your mom's a librarian. Ah, kidding me? The women line up.
It's good to know.
Could you get your friends off dues and stuff, overdue books and stuff?
No, I couldn't even get myself out of dues. My mother would, we had to pay the dues. And we would pick up, just say dog things off the lawn with a stick and put it down the book depository. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm all right, yeah, that's true.
You were going to take it back.
I was going to take it back, but I really didn't.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, they report the news that's fit to print and want to extend theirs. The Times wants them in the office for 3 days, but they'd rather work in their PJs. New York Times workers fume when they're ordered to return to the newsroom. Yeah, the New York Times, it's a paper, Cat. Expects employees. They expect employees to start returning to the office for 3 days a week, starting this week. That's still 1 day more than the president. Red meat. Oh, sure. Sure, I'll take it. But so far, over 1,300 workers have signed a pledge not to come back. But management may not take them seriously since they lie to their readers all the time. It's all part of a contract dispute between management and the News Guild Journalists Union, or NGJU. One Times vet said that people are livid with having to return to the office time of high inflation, especially when they're expected to continue downplaying high inflation. In addition to an 8% pay bump, the union's insisting that all workers who can work remotely retain that option indefinitely. It's not clear how strictly the 3-day in-office mandate will be enforced, although sources say those who don't show up may be punished by being forced to read the New York Times. I'm just happy they're clapping at that joke, Kat.
Must feel good.
How do you feel about the in-office, out-office thing? If you weren't doing a TV show and you didn't have to be here, would you be here?
Yeah, I mean, as I was reading this, I just kept thinking, are their apartments bigger than mine? Because I can't stay home for that long. Like, I lose it. Like, my outdoor space is like, get on the elevator and go stand on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, for me personally, if I'm home too long, I go crazy, I act out, etc. It's not a pretty scene for anyone involved. So, but I guess for them, why do you need to be in the office? I kind of understand what they're talking about there, but also 3 days is not that bad. But also, again, where are you living? That you want to be there.
You know, Tars, I think it makes people question things that they rarely questioned, like their commute. Like you would just go, I just drive to work and I get to work. And then all of a sudden you realize you could do it at home. And then you're not looking forward to going to work because you don't want to do the commute.
You know, I mean, I get that. I commute by plane.
Yes. Yes.
So I understand that. But it just goes back to the old thing where media in its sense has changed. It's not like we're going to be missing these journalists.
Ever, we must unify around our shared values and rise above the partisan rancor and forge our common destiny. When our nation was hit with the terrible pandemic, we produced not one, but 2 vaccines with record-breaking speed, and more will quickly follow. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. They called it a medical miracle, and that's what they're calling it right now, a medical miracle. Another administration would have taken 3, 4, 5, maybe even up to 10 years to develop a vaccine. We did it in 9 months. We grieve for every life lost And we pledge in their memory to wipe out this horrible pandemic once and for all. For years, the American people pleaded with Washington to finally secure the nation's borders. I am pleased to say we answered that plea and achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. The world respects us again. Please don't lose that